Alright, so this is a theory lesson to cover the sharps and flats pages 27, 28 in the Excellence in Theory book. So I'm going to help you through this to help you understand how the sharps and flats work in relation to the piano keyboard. It's a great way to visualize it. So here we're looking at the piano keyboard. Notice the white keys are labeled C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. It's just the alphabet. We happen to start on C. That's kind of our home base. C is really easy to find on the piano keyboard, and it's a good thing to know how to find it. So if you take a look, you'll see a pair of black keys. That's 2 in one group, and the other group there's 3 black keys. Find the 2 black keys, pair the 2 together, go to the first key to the left. It's always C. You can find it numerous places on the piano keyboard, but look for the pair of black keys, 2 black keys, first key to the left is C. So here we go. We're going to do sharps first. Sharps raise a note by a half step. Sharps always moving to the right, going up the keyboard. Raise, going up higher. So we start with the C on the left. If we raise that a half step, we end up at that black key. That is C sharp. Same thing happens when we're on D. We go to the right a half step. We end up on D sharp. The next one gets a little weird. We're on E. Notice between E and F there is no black key because E and F are a half step apart already. There's no room in between for black keys. So E sharp is the same as F. Okay, F up a half step, F sharp. You guys can probably recite these with me by now. You see the pattern. G up a half step, G sharp. A up a half step, A sharp. Here's the other place on the piano keyboard where there's no black key. B up a half step is B sharp, which lands you at C. So that's sharps. That's how they work. When you notate them, in other words, when you write them on the staff, which you're going to be doing in a little bit, you write the sharp before the note. So you figure out what line or space you're going to put the note. You put the sharp on that line or space, and then write the note. When you say it, it's the other way around. So in other words, I said C sharp or D sharp, but you write the sharp on the staff before you write the note. Okay, so that's sharps, and that's going to deal with everything on page 27. Okay, let's look now at flats, which is page 28. Flats work exactly the same way. It's just lowering the note, so going to the left on the piano keyboard. Same thing applies when you notate or write it on the staff. You write the flat first. The little bulb or the bottom part of the flat sign goes on the line or in the space, depending on the note you're trying to write. So you write the flat and then you write the note. When you say it, opposite way. Say the letter, then say the note, or say the flat. So excuse me. So it's like D flat, E flat, etc. So here we go. We're going to start on the D. D down a half step is D flat, right there on that lowest black key. E down a half step is E flat. So here's our next one, F down a half step. There's no black key, so F flat. You guessed it, it's the same as E. Now we're on G down a half step, G flat. A down a half step, A flat. B down a half step, B flat. And C, yep, C flat, same as B. So that is how you do flats. So if you look at the assignment on page 27 is all sharps. You're going to be writing sharps. Part 1, you're just going to be labeling the notes. Notice the first part's treble, the second part is bass clef. Do your clef. So if you read treble clef primarily, do treble clef. Bass clef, do bass clef. Percussion, yes, you have to do both. Everybody is welcome to do both if you want to practice. You can always refer back if you forgot what the other clef lines and spaces were. Just refer back in your book. It's really not that hard. The parts 2 and 3 ask you to draw a clef. Bass clef first, then treble clef first. Yes, if you are a treble clef instrument, just do both lines in treble clef. If you are a bass clef instrument, do both lines in bass clef. And percussion, do it as written. So do part 2 in bass clef, part 3 in treble clef. Everyone, of course, is welcome, if you want the extra challenge, to do it as written. Page 28 is all flats. Same concepts. Part 1, do your clef. Percussion, do both. Everyone's welcome to do the challenge and do both, but percussion have to. Part 2 says treble clef, so if you're a treble clef instrument, do that in treble clef. Write the notes. Remember the flat and sharp on both of these pages. When you write the notes, notate them on the staff, put the flat or sharp before the note. Okay? So yeah, part 2 on 28 is treble clef, so treble clef folks do that. 3 is bass clef folks do that. And percussion do both. Again, everyone is welcome to do both. Also, little hint on part 2 and 3 on both pages, make sure you read the instruction carefully so that you draw the correct note value. Then you also want to check your stem directions. If you forgot how that works, flip back a few pages and identify it. Again, read the instructions. The important things are underlined, the note value. Hint, hint, hint. Okay? That should do it. Good luck. There you go.